It's here. The cheers to that Halloween special, where we brew up some frightfully delicious cocktails.
All right, so Halloween's on the way, and you want cocktails that'll really knock the socks off your guests.
More than just the taste, right?
Exactly. We're diving into spooky shots, drinks that are basically edible decorations.
All about the experience.
Absolutely. We've got some seriously creative cocktails. You wanted spooky shots, and trust me, the names alone are enough to get the party rolling.
Oh, I'm intrigued. I do love when a cocktail embraces a theme.
Get this, the monkey brain shot. Just the name, how can you not want to try that?
Okay, you've got my attention. What's in this monkey brain concoction?
All right, vodka, splash of lime juice, a little bit of Irish cream, and a touch of grenadine.
Sounds pretty standard.
That's where you're wrong. It's all about how they work together. You see, that Irish cream doesn't really get along with lime juice.
Ah, right. It curdles.
Bingo. And that's how you get that brain-like effect.
And I'm guessing the grenadine is our blood red drizzle.
You know it. It's
Ah.
those little details, right? Makes it memorable.
Absolutely. They even suggest using a syringe for the Irish cream, for authenticity.
Oh, I can imagine. People would lose their minds. But it's not all for show. What about the taste?
Well, you've got that sweetness from the Irish cream, tartness from the lime, and a hint of bitterness from the grenadine. Surprisingly balanced, really tasty.
And bonus points. Ingredients most people already have at home. Perfect for those last-minute party preps.
Absolutely. Sometimes easy is best, especially when you're going for a big impact.
Speaking of impact, ready to step up the U factor.
Lay it on me.
We're talking eyeball Jello shots.
Ah, classic. Though those do take a bit more, shall we say, finesse to get right.
Oh, absolutely. You ever seen those round ice cube trays?
I have. Those are key for these, right? Got to get that perfect eyeball shape.
Exactly. And the layering, talk about detail-oriented. Blue-tinted gelatin for the iris, then a dollop of chocolate sauce for the pupil. Almost too real.
It's impressive when it's done well, the things you can do with a few simple ingredients.
It really is something else. And then for the white of the eye, it's a condensed milk and vodka Jello mix.
Again with those layers. Sweet condensed milk, tangy vodka, and still managing to look creepy.
Oh, and we can't forget that final touch of blood. A little drizzle of grenadine to really sell it.
Exactly. Plus a little extra sweetness to balance out all that vodka.
Now, Jello shots aren't everyone's thing.
That's very true. Not everyone's a fan of that texture.
And you got me thinking earlier, our listener did specifically ask about shots.
Right.
But there are other spooky cocktails out there.
Yeah.
Even if they're not served in shot glasses, they still scream Halloween.
Totally. Sometimes a long, slow sip is what you want, especially when you're going for that spooky, atmospheric vibe.
Exactly. The Black Devil cocktail. It's been calling to me.
Ooh, just the name. Sounds like something out of an old horror movie.
And the best part? So simple. White rum, dry vermouth, and a single black olive for garnish.
Simple, but elegant.
Right. And you can do so much with that olive to make it extra spooky. The recipe suggests stuffing it with a sliver of red pepper.
To get that bloodshot eye effect. A classic for a reason.
And they also suggest an orange sugar rim festive, but with a creepy twist.
Ooh, I like that. That contrast. You've got this dark, almost mysterious cocktail, and then, bam, a pop of bright orange.
Total Addams Family vibes.
Totally.
What I love about this one is it's not just about following the recipe exactly. It's like a starting point for your own creativity.
Oh, I totally agree, especially with that olive. Imagine instead of red pepper, a tiny cheese sliver carved into a skull.
Stop.
Or a drop of edible blood, corn syrup and red food coloring.
Okay, that's brilliant. Or, hear me out, instead of the orange sugar rim, we go for black licorice.
Ooh, yes.
We could even make a little licorice spider to sit on the edge of the glass.
Now you're talking. It's amazing how a few tweaks can take a drink from "that's nice" to "whoa, that's incredible."
I know, right? Getting a little carried away here.
As you should. It's Halloween. Time to embrace the weird and wonderful.
Okay, one last idea before we move on. What if? We add a small piece of dry ice to the glass just before serving.
Oh my God, that's genius. That smoky fog spilling over the rim. Pure magic.
Right. The whole scene is set for a spooky night.
Couldn't agree more. And you know what? Even if those Jello shots don't come out looking exactly anatomical,
Or your Black Devil loses an olive eye along the way.
it's all part of the fun.
Exactly. It wouldn't be Halloween without a few happy accidents. And the names they come up with, so good, like Black Magic Jello shots, Tapeworm shot. The waiting room's eternal. Wait, I mean, come on. How could you not be intrigued?
Okay, tapeworm shot. That one's a little aggressive. Although I guess it depends on the ingredients. Maybe it's surprisingly delicious.
Maybe. But they had me at Sandworm's Desert Tequila Sunrise.
Ooh, now we're talking. That sounds pretty adventurous. Like something you'd find in a cantina on Tatooine.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
But this was actually inspired by Beetlejuice. They describe it as a drink that bites back, which, knowing Beetlejuice, seems pretty accurate.
I love that. That's what I'm talking about. It's like a whole story in a glass.
Yeah.
You've got the tequila, which definitely has that bite. Then the orange juice for that desert sunrise vibe.
And then I'm assuming they use some creative garnishes to really sell that whole sandworm aesthetic.
Oh, absolutely. You gotta have those creepy, crawly garnishes. Maybe some gummy worms strategically placed to look like they're like emerging from the sand.
Okay, you had me at gummy worms. That's brilliant. And it just goes to show, like, there's a real art to crafting these drinks. It's not just about mixing flavors. It's about creating an experience, right?
Totally. It's like you're not just making a cocktail, you're crafting a whole story.
I loved it. It's like mixology meets storytelling.
Exactly.
And it's funny you mentioned like those creepy crawly garnishes, because that kind of brings me to my next thought, which is like, you see all these incredible pictures of Halloween cocktails, right?
Ew, yeah.
And they always look amazing.
Yeah.
But I feel like the garnishes are really like what takes it to the next level visually.
100%. The garnishes are everything.
They can make or break a drink.
Yeah.
You know, like they can take it from, oh, that's a pretty good drink to, oh my God, that is terrifying in a good way.
Right. Because like you said, it's Halloween. You got to have that scare factor.
Exactly. And the creativity people come up with for these garnishes is seriously impressive. We're talking lychee eyeballs, spider ice cubes, gummy worms, and my personal favorite, skeleton hand stirrers.
Yeah.
It's like they raided a Halloween party store and said, let's put it all in a drink.
It's the best kind of rating, am I right?
The very best. And you know what I love about it? It's like, it's about that moment when someone hands you this skooky concoction with a gummy worm dangling off the side. And you're like,
You kind of don't know whether to drink it or run away from it.
exactly.
But that's the best part. It's all part of the fun.
And you know what else I love about the garnishes? It's like, they're not just for looks,
Yeah.
right? Like they actually add to the whole sensory experience of the drink too.
Oh, for sure. Like, think about it. You take a sip of your drink and you get that little surprise of a burst of cherry flavor from a gummy worm or
The chill of a spooky ice cube.
Exactly. And it just
Totally.
takes the whole thing to another level.
And that gets me thinking, okay, if I were to create my own signature Halloween cocktail, what would that even be?
Ooh, that's a good one. What would it be?
I don't even know. It's tough, right? Like there are so many possibilities. What about you? What kind of Halloween cocktail would you create?
Oh, man. So many ideas. I think I'd go for something dark and mysterious. Maybe something with smoky mezcal and a blackberry liqueur with a little bit of that, theater,
I like where your head's at.
Maybe a little dry ice for that extra spooky effect.
Ooh, yes. Dry ice is always a good idea. Okay, listeners, now it's your turn. What kind of Halloween cocktail would you create? Let us know. We want to hear your spooking concoctions.
Yeah, get creative. And remember, it's not just about the drink itself. It's about, the whole experience.
Yeah.
Think about the flavors, the presentation, the garnishes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most importantly, have fun with it. Because at the end of the day, that's what Halloween cocktails are all about. Having a spooky good time.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Halloween cocktails.
Cheers to that.
Until next time, stay spooky.
Ready to mix up some frightful fun? Get your Halloween cocktail recipes at drinklab.org.